Good evening everyone, and welcome to this slightly delayed Gundam news that once again takes place in its trusty decor. But without any further ado, a new month of course means a new Gunpla schedule. And just like last month, it's again a nicely packed schedule with a whopping 5 kits. And 2 of them were released on the 3rd already. For 1,540 yen, 11 US, there was the high-grade Chuchu's Demitrainer that comes with its signature beam sniper rifle, backpack and enhanced optics, and for 1,760 yen, 12 US, there was the high-grade Dilanza, which can either be built as the mass production version or as Lauda's custom unit, which is of course currently famous for being used by Gyunei. So I'm not entirely sure which version I'm going to build it as because I am, of course, notoriously a fan of mass production units, but Gyunei is definitely a really great character too, so I'm really not sure. Then for peak impressiveness, there is the Master Grade Extreme Strike Freedom Gundam that releases on the 19th for 15,400 yen, 106 US. Not a small price to pay, but it is gearing up to be the most impressive Strike Freedom kit ever. Because not only does it come with the usual accessories, but of course we also have all of those different gold platings, a lot of sliding armor gimmicks, and even some etched parts. And the month is rounded up on the 26th with the release of the SDW Heroes Son Quan Gundam Astray for 1,210 yen, 9 US, and the Figurized Standard Miorine Rembrandt for 3,520 yen, around 28 US. So yeah, definitely a lot of heavy hitters this month. And the new announcements that we got this week were no slouch either. Over at P Bandai on the 28th, pre-orders opened up for the G-Frame Full Armor X's Gundam / S Gundam Blue Splitter Spec, an improved version of the previously released regular G-Frame X's Gundam / S Gundam set, the difference being that the upper arms and thighs now also have armor on the rear, and the income wires are also new, allowing you to go full burst with this set. And for 6,900 yen, 47 US, this figure will be blitzing its way to you in April. And while it is on the more expensive side, at least we are getting a lot of accessories. On the 31st then, pre-orders opened up for the previously announced Metal Build Gundam Dynames and Devise Dynames, and this impressive looking figure can be yours in May for the wallet-crushing price of 28,600 yen, just under 200 US. You can display it as just the regular Dynames without any extra whistles and bells, but considering the price you're paying for this thing, you're probably going to want to have it as the Devise Gundam with everything you can. And basically this is the Dynames with an extra module on its back that contains 2 arms that can wield the beam pistols, beam sabers, and I guess also the beam sniper rifle, although it's not designed for it, but hey, if they can hold on to the beam pistols, they can probably also hold on to the GN beam sniper rifle. And one day later then, the slightly cheaper Metal Robot Spirit's new Gundam double fin funnel type went up for pre-order, also over at P Bandai. And for a price of 17,050 yen, 117 US. And as its name indicates, the biggest change is that this new Gundam now has a symmetrical fin funnel placement, but contrary to what I first thought, that is not the only difference. The beam rifle is also different and now looks longer, and the shield is also ever so slightly changed. Not too shabby, and this thing can be yours in May. And since we're on the topic of figures, Tamashii Nations will kick off the second part of their version anime title logo campaign on the 18th, a promotion that will give an 08th MS team Witch from Mercury or MSV like title logo display thingy with the purchase of a Robot Spirits version anime figure at participating Japanese stores. And from the Mega House Mobile Suit Nyandam project, we got a pre-release review of the Zeon lineup. And just as with the Federation lineup, the reviewer again recreated famous scenes from Gundam with the catified characters, and it's definitely interesting to see. And of course, as with every week, we also had a lot of Witch from Mercury things happening. I'm not going to get too much into the latest Witch from Mercury episode because, well, it only just aired. But dear lord, are they hell-bent on ruining the happy birthday song for just about everyone watching. So yeah, I wonder if in the next episode they're going to continue this dark trend, or if they're kind of going to play around it with blissful ignorance for the time being and really up the darkness all around at a later date. What I do know though is that today YOASOBI will be having a special performance over at the Gundam Factory Yokohama, and that they're having a big collaboration with 7-Eleven. The first thing is that they're handing out special Arsenal-based cards by purchasing eligible products, with the cards being the RX-78-2, the Wing, the Ailstrike, the Barbs, and the Aerial. The second is that by presenting the 7-Eleven app when buying eligible products, you'll get a special picture. The third is that Suletta will be doing in-store advertising for the app, mixed with the opening song. The fourth is the previously covered Ichiban Kuji campaign, and the fifth is some really cool limited edition Gunpla. There is the 7-Eleven limited color entry grade new Gundam for 1,320 yen, 8 US. The 7-Eleven limited color entry grade Strike Gundam for 990 yen, 7 US. And the recirculation color / neon pink high grade Lfrith for 1,760 yen, 12 US. And I am really digging that neon pink combined with black color scheme. Just make the gun black too, and it's perfect. And finally, we got an interesting theory floating around the interwebs because of something that was said in the latest episode. One of the characters tells Suletta's mom that there's no use in taking revenge for a 20-year-old, and then gets cut off. The important thing here being that most people are interpreting that 21-year-old thing as the stuff that happened during the prologue, meaning that the timeline with Eric, or Eri, and Suletta just don't add up. Eri was 4 during the prologue, and she's now 17, meaning that there should have been a 13-year time gap and not a 21-year time gap. So, long story short, the Eri that we saw during the prologue is now the Ariel, or at least the consciousness of the Ariel, and Suletta Mercury is her clone, which also explains why they're sisters and why her mom has a lot of confidence in the mobile suit itself, or herself. And while very intriguing, there can also be a much simpler explanation for the 21-year thing. A mobile suit isn't developed overnight, so I wouldn't be surprised if the 21 years is simply in reference to when the Lfrith started its development, or if 21 years ago was when the issues started that would eventually lead to, well, the events of the prologue. That being said, in that latest episode, it was also established that body doubles are a thing in the G-Witch universe, so Suletta being an Eri clone is actually totally within the realm of possibilities. And then these surprising things don't end with Witch from Mercury, because do you know who is still alive? Iron-blooded orphans. Or to be more specific, the Iron-Blooded Orphans G app, which will also include the Urdr Hunt anime. It's still alive, and pre-registrations have now begun on both the App Store and Google Play, and we also got a sweet new trailer, which is of course only available to the people living in Japan or the people using NordVPN. So if you too want to beat those pesky region locks, or you just want some more security while browsing online, you can use the link down below or the code kkrt to not just get a sweet discount, but to also support the channel. And what is more, the release of this IBOG app is still listed as 2022, so I wonder if they're actually going to be able to complete the damn thing this year. In other news then, on November the 2nd, the Our National Treasures 150 Years into the Future exhibition kicked off at the Tokyo National Museum and will be continuing until January the 29th. And of course, as part of this exhibition, they've got some really cool Gundam stuff, with the coolest one being a moving 1/10 scale Gundam that was built to test out the technology for the life-sized moving Gundam. Definitely something worth seeing if you're going to Japan. And two of the big names behind the original Gundam series also took the limelight this week. Yoshiyuki Tomino, the man behind the whole operation, won the 71st Kanagawa Culture Award for his influence on both the Japanese and the worldwide animation market. And I think it's safe to say that it's not just an influence on the animation market, but on like the whole entertainment market. And he was specifically selected for his achievements in developing anime as a culture, again, something that I think we can all agree on. And at the same time, Yoshikazu Yasuhiko won the 2022 Agency of Cultural Affairs Film Award for his Cuckoo's the One's Island movie. And he was selected in particular for showing off diverse characters in a realistic way, high quality animation, and just as with Yoshiyuki Tomino, his influence over others in the field. Again, a reward that we can all totally agree on. Next up then, we got some really cool new Jagd illustrations for the Blu-rays and DVDs of the 4th and 5th Reconguista NG movies, and then moving on to the gaming front, the Gelgook Stutzer joins the battle in Gundam Battle Operation 2. In Gundam Breaker Mobile, the 5-star Tallgeese 2 has become available, the Decisive Fire multi-mission was launched, and the November Mega Madness ticket went up for sale. Over at UC Engage then, we got a new story event for Pesce Montagneu's 0087 storyline, the Engage Zero Saikomu test type and the new Pesce became available, and the Zeta Gundam with Hyper Mega Launcher and Camille also became available. On to the things you could get this week then. Starting on October 28th, 5 Witch from Mercury paints were released by Mr. Hobby for 253 yen a pop, around 2 US, and the available colors are Gundam Ariel blue, white and gray, and Gundam Lfrith pink and gray. One day later then, we got the most expensive thing this week around, the metal build Gundam Devise Exia, which came complete with its Proto-GN Luster sword and Devise backpack. And as I already explained with the metal build Dynames, Devise Dynames, this backpack contains extra arms that can hold on to guns and sabers. Although, in the case of the Exia, it is just going to be sabers. And for 22,000 yen, this top tier Exia could have been yours. And on the same day, we also got the clear color version of the high-grade Penelope over at the Gundam base, which goes for 7,480 yen, around 50 US, and, well, it is a clear colored version of the flying robot chicken. And on the 31st, we got some more Gunpla, with the Gunpla round boxes getting a re-release for 1,650 yen, 12 US. You can either get the entry-grade Gundam Snow colors, or the entry-grade Striped Rouge with Armor Schneiders, and both will come with a matching box and snacks. And for even more snacks, you could go for the Mobile Suit Leg Boots. For 1,320 yen, 9 US, you could either get the OG Gundam's leg with a shield tin, or the OG Zaku's leg with Zaku machine gun ammo drum tin. And of course, each also comes with matching snacks. November then started off with a bunch of new Gundam stationery. From the OG Gundam and Char's Counterattack, you could get 4 types of metallic file for 440 yen a pop, 4 US, 4 types of croquis book for 880 yen each, 7 US, 4 types of desk mat for 3,300 yen each, 25 US, a new Gundam or YOASOBI semi-hard pen case for 2,200 yen, 15 US, a new or YOASOBI hardcover notebook for 990 yen, 8 US, and a new or YOASOBI A4 cutter mat for 1,210 yen, 8 US. And from Mercury, there were even more things. For 440 yen, 4 US, they got holographic files featuring Suletta, Gyul, Elon, and Chidik with their respective mobile suits on the back. For 880 yen, 7 US, you could get the same mobile suits on a croquis book, or for 770 yen, 6 US, you can get a bunch of removable stickers of the pilots and their mobile suits. Then for also 770 yen each, 6 US, there are 9 different pins to collect. For 440 yen each, 4 US, 9 different can badges, and for 385 yen, 3 US, 12 different types of stickers. Next up is a desk mat for 3,300 yen, 25 US, featuring either Suletta and the Ariel, Gyul and his Dilanza, just the Ariel, or the teaser image. And finally, you could get a Gundam Ariel or Aztecastia themed hardcover notebook for 990 yen, 8 US, pen case for 2,200 yen, 15 US, or cutter mat for 1,210 yen, 8 US. Up next is November the 3rd, when we not only got the already mentioned Demitrainer Chuchu Custom and Dilanza, but also the RE100 Yagd Doga Gyunei Custom Special Coating version that went up for sale over at Gundam Side F for 10,450 yen, around 75 US, which is a very shiny boy that may or may not go up for sale over at the Gundam base. One day later then, the Kira and Athrun T cards started being issued in Japan, and finally on the 5th, the 7-Eleven Gunpla Art Coffee Tumbler collaboration kicked off, featuring the Antique R78-2, Antique Char's Zaku 2, High Grade Aerial, High Grade Revive Strike, High Grade Revive Ale Strike, and Antique Zeon. All tumblers go for 3,069 yen each, 20 US, and the Zeon one is an exclusive over at 7-Eleven's online store. As for this week's reading material then, there was the Big Comic Superior, in which Gundam Thunderbolt is being serialized, and now also comes with a B4 Zani artboard. There was Gundam Forward, of which an ebook is also available on Amazon, US, UK, Canada, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, and even the Netherlands. And this time features skits from Endless Waltz. Then there was Let's Try Beginners 2, Gunpla How-To course, and the 7th chapter of the Gundam sequel manga became available for free online, as well as the 29th chapter of Gundam Thunderbolt's side story. Both are linked down below. And with that, it is already time to have a look at this week's Gundam apparel. Well, this week's week and a half's Gundam apparel. And it was kicked off by Bankore with pre-orders for the Mobile Suit Gundam Art Graphic Collection hoodie on the 28th. For 7,700 yen, 53 US, you can get a black hoodie with either Amro's ARC-78-2 stabbing a Zaku through the cockpit, or a Char motif that ironically says the new type Shalia Bull. Now, I'm pretty sure this was done in reference to the anime episode called The New Type Shalia Bull, but I can't help but feel that it looks off. Like, if they wanted to go with an anime episode title, They could have gone with so many better options. But regardless, these hoodies are slated for a December release, and 2 days later, you could show your allegiance to one of which from Mercury's houses by pre-ordering the matching jewelry. The represented houses are Jeturk, Pyle, and Grassley, but you can also go for the standard Astacasia symbol or the holder symbol. You can get the designs on either a necklace for 9,350 yen, 64 US, or a bracelet for 8,250 yen, 57 US, and they will be shipping out in January. Or on November the 2nd, pre-order started for much more colorful versions of these emblems on a tote bag for 2,200 yen, 15 US, and a mug for 2,530 yen, 18 US. All of which are currently slated for a December release. And on the same day, pre-orders also started for the third lineup of Gundam Pika Clear Pass cases. These are sleeves that you can put around an IC card, and they'll light up when you use the card, powered by the electromagnetic waves produced by the transaction. And for 1,980 yen, 14 US, you can get a Char Zagog, Goof, Dom, Zeta Gundam, Mark II AU version, Kublai, Zeta Gundam, Victory Gundam, GPO-1, GPO-2, God Gundam, Master Gundam, Freedom Gundam, Justice Gundam, or Exia Gundam version. And these will all also be releasing in December. And then finally for Bankore, on the 4th, pre-orders began for the Mobile Suit Gundam and Hathaway's Flash Travel Items series, featuring a variety of travel necessities in either a Principality of Zeon theme or a Mafty theme. There's a suitcase for 38,500 yen, 263 US, a Boston bag for 8,250 yen, 57 US, a pouch for 4,180 yen, 29 US, another pouch for 6,600 yen, 45 US, a drawstring purse for 2,750 yen, 19 US, a suitcase belt for also 2,750 yen, 19 US, a luggage tag for 1,870 yen, 13 US, and an eye mask for 1,650 yen, 11 US. And all of these items will be flying your way in March. Over at Strict G then, they released 2 new collections on November the 4th. The first one is the third lineup of Strict G's Jawbro collection, featuring a gray or khaki hoodie for 10,780 yen, 74 US, and a bunch of long sleeve t-shirts with pockets for 9,680 yen a pop, 66 US. There is a white or navy one with a palm tree Jawbro design, a white or khaki one with a Gundam Jawbro design, or a navy or khaki one that comes with the Federation's emblem. And the second lineup was for their first 22 AW collection. 6,930 yen, 48 US, gets you a khaki Zeon Forces or Black Red Comet shirt. 8,030 and 55 US get you a gray Zeon Forces or Black Red Comet long sleeve t-shirt. 11,880 yen, 81 US get you a khaki Zeon Forces or Black Red Comet hoodie. And finally, for 880 yen a pop, 6 US, you can get a Red Comet Armored Assault Force Zeon UC 0079 Zeon Forces or Zeon 1 Year War pin. And as always, let's wrap up this video with some polls. October the 31st was Genius Day in Japan, so Gundam.info wanted to know which Gundam character has the strongest image as a genius. And in first place, we have the self-proclaimed genius, Clem Nick, with a strong 42.8% of the votes. A result that I'm sure was in no way influenced by the memes surrounding this unquestionable genius character from Reconguista in G. So maybe it is the character in second place that is the actual biggest genius in Gundam, Paptimus Scirocco. With 38.6%, he actually managed to get pretty close to winning the poll, but just as in Zeta Gundam, no matter how genius he was, victory was just out of reach. And for third place, we had another close call, this time between Kitsamilla and Lo Gyul, who got 9.8 and 8.9% respectively. As for the currently ongoing poll then, with the upcoming release of the Master Grade Extreme Strike Freedom Gundam, Gundam.info wanted to know which one of the Strike Freedom's weapons is the most popular. And the results seemed pretty decisive. In last place with 117 votes, there was the Calidus or Calidus beam cannon mounted in its abdomen. Then in a close contest for second place were the high energy beam rifles and Xiphios 3 rail cannons with 175 and 182 votes respectively. But in an extremely dominant lead, there were the Super Dragoons with 606 votes. But because this video was delayed, this poll will unfortunately already have ended by the time that this video goes live. But that has been all for this week's Gundam news. As always, a big thanks to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great evening, and I'll see you all later this week with a regularly scheduled Gundam news.